You are about to learn all of the key insights from this book in just a few minutes. 0 to 1 is a must-read for anyone looking to create something truly innovative, offering insights into how to build transformative businesses by thinking differently, challenging conventions, and focusing on creating value in unique and lasting ways. Let's have a productive life. Chapter 1: The Challenge of the Future. Let's begin by thinking about the future, not as a distant concept, but as something we actively shape through innovation. Thiel opens his book with a compelling question he likes to ask in interviews. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? It's a hard question because it demands two things: intellectual originality and the courage to defy popular opinion. Thiel argues that progress isn't about simply adding more of the same, it's about going from 0 to 1, creating something entirely new. For example, consider how the first smartphone revolutionized communication. It wasn't just a better phone, it was an entirely new kind of device. Thiel challenges us to think from first principles, breaking ideas down to their basics and rebuilding them from scratch. This mindset allows us to rethink industries, redefine norms, and create groundbreaking innovations. So how do we apply this? Start by questioning commonly accepted ideas and identifying areas where consensus might be wrong. Focus on building something original, not just iterating on what already exists. Most importantly, develop the courage to propose and defend unconventional ideas, even if they're initially unpopular. As Thiel says, brilliant thinking is rare, but courage is in even shorter supply than genius. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 2: Party Like It's 1999. The next chapter reflects on the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s, a time of irrational exuberance when startups popped up everywhere, chasing trends without a clear strategy. Thiel points out that many companies failed because they were more focused on following the crowd than on building lasting value. As he puts it, madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages, it is the rule. Let's think about this in today's context. Imagine a company that jumps into the latest social media trend just because everyone else is doing it. Without a plan to differentiate or create long-term value, it's likely to get lost in the noise. Thiel warns against this herd mentality, urging us to think critically and avoid getting swept up in short-term fads. To act on this, evaluate trends with a clear head before committing resources. Ask yourself, does this align with my long-term vision? Can I create unique, sustainable value here? By maintaining a balance between optimism for new opportunities and realism about market conditions, you can avoid the mistakes of the past and focus on building something enduring. Chapter 3: All happy companies are different. In this chapter, Thiel introduces a provocative idea. All happy companies are monopolies. A monopoly, he explains, is not just a giant corporation. It's any company that dominates its niche by offering something unique and irreplaceable. Competition, on the other hand, erodes profits and forces businesses into a constant struggle for survival. Thiel writes, all failed companies are the same. They fail to escape competition. Take Google as an example. Its search engine became a monopoly not because it outmarketed competitors, but because it created a superior product that no one could match. Monopolies like this drive progress because they set the bar higher, creating entirely new markets or dominating existing ones with groundbreaking offerings. For your own ventures, focus on dominating a specific niche before expanding further. Develop proprietary advantages, whether it's technology, processes, or branding, that are hard for competitors to replicate. And remember, innovation doesn't stop once you achieve success. Continuous improvement is what ensures long-term relevance and profitability. Chapter 4: The Ideology of Competition. Let's start by exploring competition and its often overlooked drawbacks. Thiel makes a bold claim. The culture of competition, which is deeply ingrained in society, is not as beneficial as we tend to believe. Instead of fostering creativity and innovation, competition can trap businesses into focusing too much on rivals and too little on standing out. As Thiel states, if you're undifferentiated and competing, you're always losing. Imagine two coffee shops on the same street offering nearly identical menus. Each lowers prices and adds promotions to outdo the other, yet neither makes meaningful progress. This is the trap of competition, where imitation overshadows innovation. Thiel argues that businesses should break free from this mindset by differentiating themselves and striving to create monopoly-like conditions through unique offerings. To apply this, don't waste time benchmarking yourself against competitors. Instead, define your path and focus on delivering something no one else can. Build a business model that's so distinctive that customers see it as the only option. Lastly, reevaluate strategies that center solely on outperforming others and consider whether innovation might be the better path forward. Chapter 5. Last Mover Advantage. Let's talk about the idea of the last mover advantage. While many think being first to market is a critical success factor, Thiel flips this assumption. He suggests that being the last mover, the one who dominates and endures in a market, is far more valuable. You need to be the last mover, he says, the one who makes the last great development in a specific market and enjoys years or even decades of monopoly profits. A great example is Amazon. It wasn't the first online bookstore, but its long-term focus on innovation, logistics, and customer experience helped it outlast and overshadow early competitors. Thiel emphasizes that durable businesses aren't built on fleeting trends, but on strategies designed to stand the test of time. For this reason, prioritize creating a defensible position over rushing to market. Think about what will make your business relevant and profitable decades from now. Reinvent and reinvest in innovation continuously to maintain your edge and ensure that you're the company that defines the market in the long term, not just the first to enter it. Chapter 6. You are not a lottery ticket. Let's now tackle a common myth about success, the idea that it's all about luck. Thiel strongly rejects this notion, arguing instead that success requires deliberate effort, strategic planning, and a clear vision. Luck, he says, is a concept for people who don't want to take responsibility for their future. Take the example of successful entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. While their stories might seem like a series of fortunate events, their achievements were driven by meticulous planning, relentless determination, and the ability to execute on bold visions. Thiel calls this deterministic thinking, focusing on actions and outcomes you can control rather than leaving things to chance. To adopt this mindset, start by setting clear, actionable goals. Take full responsibility for achieving them rather than waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap. Avoid relying on randomness. Instead, focus on building systems and processes that drive predictable results. Lastly, cultivate an optimistic outlook, but ground it in reality, believing you'll succeed because you're prepared and have a plan. Chapter 7. Follow the money. Let's ask a question. What is the ultimate goal of a business? For Peter Thiel, it's not just growth, it's profitability. Growth might look exciting on paper, but without a sustainable model, it can lead to instability. Thiel points out that the most important question isn't, how can I grow? But rather, how can I become profitable? A company generating cash flows, even modestly, is more valuable than one chasing rapid but unsustainable growth. Take a moment to think about tech startups that have gone public without clear paths to profitability. While they may grow user bases quickly, they often rely heavily on venture capital to keep afloat. Thiel critiques this obsession with vanity metrics like user numbers, suggesting that true stability comes from creating robust, predictable revenue streams. What can we learn from this? First, prioritize building a business model that generates profit. Avoid chasing metrics that might look good in the short term, but don't contribute to long-term viability. Instead, seek investors who support a sustainable growth strategy and regularly review your operations to ensure profitability remains your focus. Chapter 8. Secrets. What drives the most transformative innovations? Thiel argues it's secrets, those untapped truths or opportunities that most people overlook. A secret, he explains, is a hidden insight, one that conventional thinking tends to ignore. To uncover secrets, you need to ask unconventional questions, challenge assumptions, and explore where no one else is looking. As Thiel puts it, the best place to look for secrets is where no one else is looking. Think of companies like Tesla or Sex. Elon Musk didn't just iterate on existing ideas. He explored areas many thought impossible or unprofitable, like electric vehicles or affordable space travel. These industries thrived because they were built on secrets, truths undervalued or ignored by competitors. So, how do you apply this? First, constantly question norms and look for opportunities others dismiss. Dedicate time to exploring under-researched areas or solving problems most people shy away from. And finally, build your business or career around a unique insight, something others have yet to discover or understand. Chapter 9. Foundations. Foundations are everything when building something lasting, whether it's a skyscraper or a startup. Thiel emphasizes that the early stages of a company are when you set the tone for everything that follows: your team dynamics, your culture, and your long-term trajectory. Beginnings are special, Thiel writes. They're the time when you establish foundational structures that are difficult to change later. Consider the impact of early team decisions. Choose a co-founder who shares your values but complements your skills. Hire employees who not only bring talent but also align with your vision. Companies that neglect these foundational elements often face instability or failure because they lack alignment in purpose and goals. To build a strong foundation, start by carefully evaluating co-founders and early hires. Think of them as partners in creating something larger than themselves. Define your company culture early and reinforce it in every decision. Most importantly, avoid compromising on these foundational choices. They're nearly impossible to undo later and will shape your business for years to come. Chapter 10. The Mechanics of Mafia. Let's talk about what makes a team more than just a collection of individuals. Peter Thiel uses the term mafia-like culture to describe a highly cohesive team bound by shared values and trust. In such teams, there's a deep sense of belonging and commitment to shared goals. Thiel points to the PayPal Mafia as an example. This group of early PayPal employees went on to build other influential companies like LinkedIn, YouTube, and Tesla. Their success was rooted in mutual trust and a shared mission. Thiel notes that the best startups operate almost like cults, not in a negative sense, but in how tightly aligned they are around a purpose. He writes, "In a good company culture, people don't just work together, they believe in each other. This belief fosters loyalty, creativity, and resilience, which are essential for overcoming challenges and innovating effectively." To build this kind of culture, start by fostering a strong sense of mission and belonging within your team. Be transparent and reinforce shared values to build trust. When hiring, don't just look for skills. Seek out individuals who align with your company's ethos. This alignment ensures that your team operates as a unified force, which is one of the greatest competitive advantages you can have. Chapter 11. If you build it, will they come? Now let's shift focus to one of the biggest myths in business, the idea that if you build a great product, people will automatically come. Thiel challenges this assumption, arguing that even the best products need effective marketing and distribution to succeed. He states, "Poor sales rather than bad product is the most common cause of failure." This means that success is as much about reaching your audience as it is about what you're offering them. Think about a groundbreaking app that no one hears about. Without a solid distribution plan, even the most innovative product will struggle to find users. Thiel emphasizes that sales and marketing should not be afterthoughts, but integral parts of your strategy from the very beginning. He adds, "No company has a culture of pure engineering. Every great company also has to be great at sales." What does this mean in practice? First, invest in building a strong sales and marketing team alongside your product development. Start thinking about how you'll reach your customers early in the design process. Finally, refine your messaging continuously to ensure your value proposition is clear and compelling. A great product is only half the equation. Success lies in ensuring that the right people know about it and understand its value. Chapter 12. Man and Machine. Let's discuss the relationship between humans and technology, a dynamic that Peter Thiel believes is at the heart of future innovation. Thiel argues that the best advancements come from collaboration between human ingenuity and machine capabilities. Neither can fully replace the other. Instead, they are complements. As Thiel puts it, humans and computers are not substitutes, they're complements. Think about how pilots rely on flight systems to navigate complex environments, or how doctors use AI tools to analyze medical images. In each case, technology amplifies human abilities, enabling better results than either could achieve alone. Thiel emphasizes that the most effective technologies empower people rather than making them obsolete. So how can we apply this? First, look for ways technology can enhance, not replace, the skills of your team or industry. Encourage collaboration between technologists and experts in the field to ensure that tools are practical and impactful. Stay informed about advancements in AI and automation to identify potential synergies that can drive progress in your work. Chapter 13, Seeing Green. Next, let's dive into the world of clean technology and the lessons it offers about aligning innovation with business fundamentals. Thiel critiques the green tech boom, noting that many initiatives failed because they depended too heavily on government subsidies or lacked paths to profitability. He writes, "A company must stand on its own merits, not on government aid." Take solar energy startups as an example. Many entered the market with high hopes, but underestimated the importance of creating economically sustainable models. Thiel argues that solving pressing problems isn't enough. Successful innovation must also be practical and scalable. As he says, the best problems to solve are not just pressing, they're solvable. To implement these ideas, ensure your projects address real-world problems and have clear, sustainable revenue models. Avoid relying on external funding as your primary support, and instead focus on building products that succeed in the marketplace. By aligning environmental goals with sound business practices, you can create lasting impact. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 14. The Founder's Paradox. Finally, let's explore the paradoxical nature of founders, their strengths and weaknesses. Thiel points out that founders often possess extreme traits that make them both indispensable to their companies and sources of potential instability. He writes, "Every founder is both a paragon of strength and a deeply flawed individual." Consider visionary leaders like Steve Jobs. His perfectionism and intensity drove Apple to create groundbreaking products. But those same traits sometimes created friction within the company. Thiel highlights the importance of balancing a founder's vision with practical governance to ensure long-term success. The challenge is managing the very traits that fuel innovation, so they don't lead to chaos. How do we address this paradox? First, acknowledge the dual nature of founders and build leadership teams that complement their strengths and mitigate their weaknesses. Implement governance structures to create stability and scalability as the company grows. Finally, founders themselves should cultivate self-awareness to understand how their traits impact the organization, positively and negatively. Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 challenges us to rethink how we approach innovation, competition, and progress. It emphasizes the importance of original thinking, long-term strategy, and building businesses that redefine industries rather than merely improving upon existing ideas. By focusing on first principles, leveraging unique insights, and fostering strong teams, readers can shape a future that is not just incremental, but transformative. Ultimately, the book is a guide for anyone striving to create impactful change in a rapidly evolving world.